Hi, my name is Mason Dukacek, and I want to welcome you to our show, Build a Tribe Live, where I have the privilege of interviewing thought leaders, authors, and experts in the fields of sales, marketing, both online and offline. And today's guest is Alan Minster, who is the co-author of the book, Sales Utopia, How to Get the Right People Doing the Right Things Enough Times. He's also been featured in the St. Louis Business Journal and also appeared on the cover of Selling Magazine. I've asked Alan to come in and visit with us today. He has provided services to about 850 companies, I guess it is, since 1992, I'm guessing.
Yep.
And helps them increase their sales revenue. He helps them increase the effectiveness of their marketing campaigns and get control over the sales process. And I basically invited Alan in today to tell us how he does that. And just so you know, Alan, the format's pretty simple. Just basically I have about 10 questions I'd like to ask of you, maybe a few follow-ups, and just be yourself and let us know what you think. Before we dive into the questions and the meat of the interview, my favorite thing to start off a show is really just to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about yourself and why it is that you do what you do and why you're in the business you're in.
Sure. Well, I've been in professional selling for about 35 years, and I found that almost all salespeople struggle with several things. Number one, they get busy doing the business. They don't consistently fill their pipeline with new prospects. They do a horrible job of staying in touch with existing customers. They don't do a great job of cross-marketing. And so customers that are loyal customers that might be buying from you end up buying from competitors, and they say things like, gee, I didn't know you guys did that. The problem is with so many in sales is because it's such a activity-intense job that it's easy to confuse activity with productivity.
Sure.
And I found that in my professional selling career as well, is that I was bogged down doing details instead of spending my time with people that were qualified and interested. And what my job is now is to help salespeople focus and spend their time on those opportunities that are most likely to end up in sales. And that's what we talk about, sales process engineering, helping them figure out what is the process to engage and to close more business.
How would you, at this point in time, differentiate the difference between sales and marketing?
I thought for many years that sales and marketing were the same thing, but the analogy that probably helped me more than anything is the analogy of the farm or the garden, where marketing is about planting a garden in the springtime. You till the soil and you plant the seeds and you kill the bugs, and all season it grows. That's marketing. Sales is about harvesting. But the problem happens because so many times we send our salespeople out to harvest where there's been no crop planted, or our marketing is ineffective and sporadic, and so we throw a bunch of seeds in the ground, but because there is no consistent process to nurture that crop, somebody else ends up harvesting your crop. Today what you'll see is there's a lot of conflict between sales and marketing. Marketing will create a campaign or maybe run a very effective ad. And sure enough, people raise their hand and they want to know more, considered by marketing to be a hot lead. They then hand it off to sales and they call this person, and their goal is to find two things. Number one, are they truly qualified to buy what they sell, and is the timing right? Marketing has done their job, which is building awareness. They've handed this lead off to sales, but the problem is if they are not ready to buy right now, and 72% of the time they're not ready to buy, just even if they raise their hand. They may be doing anything from an MBA research to a person who's just kicking the tires to somebody do due diligence, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're sales ready.
Right.
And so what happens, because there's no process in the place to nurture those, the salesperson makes 2 or 3 calls, and then that lead drops off the end. So all the money that was spent to generate,
just give up.
It's gone. And so that's, I think, also why so many advertising campaigns that could be fruitful are judged as ineffective, is because there's no process for staying in touch. Once you get the fact that most sales are made after 8 to 10 contacts, and most salespeople give up after 1 or 2, Mason, they have to.
Right.
A salesperson who's compensated and based and judged on their performance cannot keep going back and going back and going back to someone who may be qualified, but is not truly sales ready.
And they may end up doing more damage to a potential relationship anyway, because if they're not ready, then they'll just consider the salesperson a pest.
That's exactly correct. And even in being pushy and hard and closing for the appointment alienates that prospective customer even more. And yet that's what these guys were trained to do, and a
Right.
lot of salespeople are still out there doing it.